Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Okay, so let us draw something on this regard. So I don't know you are aware about this availability zone concept. Have you heard this availability zone term ever?
Yeah. So it's nothing that each region will have a availability zone. Three data center in the region, and in terms of any failure of physical data center, the services will be fail over to the other one. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
something
and what
internal.
is this availability set?
Availability set is between the racks. The VMs will be placed in the different racks, and it has been connected to that
Exactly,
different source. Yeah.
exactly. So you have different, kind of data centers that are there. Okay, and it's like within that, these are availability zones. So zone 1, then zone 2, and so on, right? So you have different availability zones
Mm.
uh, that are there. So and then there are multiple things, right? Zone, and then there are like collection of zones, and this is called region, right? Regions. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, now what there is a one term that is zone redundancy. What this term is?
Something like in case of one zone failure, you will have the service from the other one, like redundancy, like n-1, something like that.
Hmm. Yeah. So in case of zone failure means you are redundant, you have a solution there. So you have, as for example, here you have something there, the backup is there, you have, and you use it. So this is basically the zone redundancy is one of the thing. Another term that is used, that is asynchronous.
Mhm.
Asynchronous, what it is? When you have and asynchronous in case of data, right? As for example, data transfer is happening, means replication is happening in parallel, okay,
Mm,
independent of each other. So
mm,
that kind of thing is called asynchronous. Okay, and then there are synchronous processes as well. When after completion of one only, and when you do BCP, these kind of things comes into picture, right? In general, two zones have 2 minute of uh, 2 millisecond, right, of latency that is there between within one region. If there are multiple, so within one region, if region are basically kind of uh, logical regions, right, that 2 millisecond redundancy will be there. Okay, availability zone is specific, can be different for different users. As for example, say uh, for you it may be availability zone 1, for me it can be availability zone 2. So it is kind of you can say logical boundaries, okay, not a kind of a physical boundaries that are there. Okay, so that is one of the thing that is important. Okay, so basically when I what I mean to say that it is based on the subscription. So for one subscription you can have a particular zone that you select, availability zone. You can have one particular available zone. For other subscription the availability zone will be different. So that is also a possibility in case of availability zones. So let us see some of the points here. Mm, Further on front door we have seen traffic manager. So this is this we have seen the availability zone part. Then there are multiple regions that we discussed and all. This is now this is important. This thing is important here. When we talk about the SLA again, we talked about SLA previously as well. Now the SLA bifurcation when we talked about 439, 49, 59. So how these are getting maintained, how these are getting taken care of. This is what this is based on these availability sets, zones and region concept. Okay, so what kind of additional things that Microsoft is providing to you to reach that particular SLA. So based on that, it guarantees. As for example, in your current scenario, right, you just have a premium storage. The SLA is 99.99. Okay. So in case of your, it is isolated system. If it fails, right, there will be impact, right? And then data there is some you don't have any backup or anything that is there. So there is an SLA out of that. So internal backup will be there within the data means within the racks. Now in data center again you have the availability set that is there, right? So multiple racks and within that your data is distributed. Then the SLA is 99.95. Okay, so I'd say the rack issue or something else. So this part is important, that how your what is the impact of your availability choices based on the your plan that you are taking. So if you are using availability zones, then there will be cost associated with it, and then definitely there will be increase in SLA. Okay, so this mapping overall is important when we will talk about availability zones and the SLA. So if you will see here, so these are the different choices that is there, that is part of that. So load balancer, availability set and everything. So they have this particular basic, because as these are the part of AZ 900 curriculum, so uh, they haven't talked about this much as part of that. But it is good if you need to know more on specific, that okay, what availability set is and load balancer, you can come here and go through this particular thing. Okay, so that is fine. Availability zones. Okay, yeah, this is interesting concept related to the load balancing. So there are two things that your whole load balancing happens. One is to be done by Microsoft. Okay, another is to be done at your level basically, right? Means one is automatic and one is manual. Okay, so in case of, right, zone, there are terms, that is, one is zone redundant architecture. Okay, so this means that Microsoft will take care of any case, any failure or anything. You don't need to kind of think about how the load balancing will happen, how the your copying will happen, replication will happen, uh, in case. So for zone redundant architecture, it means that Microsoft will take care of that. Okay, and in case of your zonal architecture, in that case you will be responsible for all those replications and everything. You need to set up based on that. So Microsoft will not have a kind of a direct responsibility in those cases. Okay, so this is what it is, that a failure to a zone affect zonal and zone redundant service differently, right? So this is the way, if in case the zone particular failure, right? So your whole zonal services will fail in this case. In case of zone redundant architecture, it will not means then Microsoft will distribute the load to the another zone or something like that. So this is the way this whole zone and architect redundant architecture is in place. So one is handled by Microsoft zone redundant, and another is zonal, is at virtual machine level, and you need to take care of it. It's in case of zonal failure, uh, until there is a recovery. In case of zone, you need to wait. There is no replication across the zone. So this is an interesting concept that is there. And then virtual machine Scala sets. Have you heard about this term, Scala sets? Hello.
No.
Okay. So again, the similar kind of thing, right? From one virtual machine, right? For the purpose of you know automation purposes, you create multiple, uh, uh, a set of virtual machine basically. Okay. So it is basically a set of virtual machines. Okay, and it is created automatically, right? You means you write some code or something like that, and then you create your Scala set based on that, and all those machines that is created as part of that Scala set will have the similar kind of setup for the machines and all. So that is Scala set. Okay, so one machine will act as kind of a blueprint, and then using it you can have completely similar setup for different machine, and it is an automatic creation. You don't need to have uh, manual, how you are doing currently. As for example, in the organization you have different machines allocated, as for example, for development purposes, 2 GB hard disk, RAM and all, Windows machine. So you have a similar kind of setup. If you need a similar kind of setup to be done for a set of machines, and it has to be created in one go with one subscription, in that case you use the Scala sets. Okay, so as for example, you have a scenario, right? You need to add VM instance for changing workload. So you have a manual process. In case of virtual machine, you have multiple virtual machine, and then you will create configure individually. In case of Scala set, it is automatic. Through scripts you will use, and then you will be creating it. Okay. Similarly, so whenever the word Scala set comes, it will do that whole activity of creation of the virtual machine, it is automated. So then this, that is the purpose of that. Azure Kubernetes services, we will discuss in general. Kubernetes, have you guys used Kubernetes? In general, you might have idea about that, right? What is the purpose of Kubernetes?
Yeah, I've used it a little bit.
Okay, what is the purpose of that? Just can you briefly mention?
Yeah, it's mainly that traditionally you'll have applications, right, which are like a monolith, like single application running on a single machine,
Mm-hmm.
and that monolith has all your services, front end, back end, or any kind of other services. Like, so application becomes little bloated, if you have to perform any changes, you need to make changes to the whole application at once.
Mm-hmm.
Then comes Kubernetes or the container part, where you break down your application into smaller services, and which are
Mm-hmm.
independent to each other, but they can connect and talk to each other on certain API.
Okay.
So, and you, by using containers, you deploy them in
Mm-hmm.
Kubernetes, connect them using Kubernetes services, and then
Okay.
you can immediately update them without
Mm-hmm.
the whole application, you know, or make you don't need to bring the whole application down. You can just update a specific application
Mm-hmm.
service,
Mm-hmm.
upgrade it, replace it, scale it. Those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, correct. Basically an orchestration tool. And when we say that containerization, we have Docker, we create containers. Now, in case of container, if a particular machine failure, there is a container failure, then if application is running on that, there will be failure of even application will stop working. What Kubernetes does is that it is an orchestration tool. So in case of any container failure, basically it has a it's creates cluster of different you can say containers, cluster of container you can say, and your application instance uh, will be kind of a backup or kind of a additional instance will be running along with that. So it's a kind of again a concept of availability there. As for example, your application is down, one container is down, then how to make sure your application is running, is up and running, okay, or maybe another container on which that is already there, kind of a backup container, and that will come into picture when your one container is down. That is one of the example then that happens, right? So there is a so yeah. So AKS automatically provides a degree of high availability. This is achieved by using multiple nodes in a virtual machine Scala set. Basically, this is cluster for them. However, these nodes can provide protection against, it's not regional failure. No, it cannot provide because it is when you talk about Scala set, it is within a particular zone. Okay, then you need to have the cluster within that. So AKS can give you that kind of a flexibility, right? Then when you are within a you are using a Scala set, multiple virtual machines, your application is running, then your kind of a zonal failure happens in availability zone. If it fails, in that case you have different clusters and it is across the regions, so that gives you that kind of that broadens your replication capability, in other words you can say. Yeah. uh, we talked about synchronous and asynchronous concept when there is a independent replication and there is a you can say dependent replication that is there. So that is we talked about it. Okay, so overall, I can say that now we need to begin kind of practical. We need to begin our hands-on, because we have done enough theoretical things, and we need to reach to till this point. So what I will say that, let us begin on AZ-104 from tomorrow, and then we will let us reach till this point, right? Availability and all concepts, we have whatever we have learned uh, as part of 305, and then along with that we will pick one of the areas and we will discuss, instead of right now it is getting more kind of discussion kind of items, so we need to have much. It's not like we will be able to discuss in one go and finish it off. It will not be like that. So at least one area we will pick and we will continue discussion. Okay, and then we will do labs as part of AZ-104. Yeah, is that fine?
Yeah.
So what time tomorrow? What time we can contact? Are you guys fine with 4 4 p.m. 10:30, 9 to 11, 4 p.m. India time? Are you guys fine?
4 p.m.
Can we do in the morning? I think we prefer morning time.
Okay, morning actually tomorrow and day after tomorrow. It's not free actually. Okay, day after tomorrow I have evening time free. I can spend evening time. Tomorrow I have morning. I have training tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Okay, an ongoing training that will finish this week. So what time we can have? Or you do or on Sunday evening, what is the availability of you guys? No,
Evening the same time you're looking at, or early?
a bit early, maybe in evening.
Sunday morning is not possible.
Yeah, for this week it is not possible. Next week we can plan. Okay, this week I'm occupied. This week it was tight for me as well, because I had multiple.
Okay.
Yeah, so this week is tight. Okay, that's why I prefer to have during weekdays sessions. Next week we can I can book certain
Yeah,
slots for this
Vijendra,
session.
how about tomorrow our UAE time, like 6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6
Huh?
o'clock is fine.
So
That will be
for
like
you,
7:30, not 7:30, right? That will be what
yeah,
time?
for 7:30.
India time.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 399 plan, and grow your skills immensely. Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Thanks for watching.